Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good night, good everything. So, in this session, I wanted to talk to you all about something that God has been doing for me in my life and just the place that He has me in. And I just kind of wanted to share this with you all so that some of you can be encouraged. This morning, I've said this before. I get like super reflective when I work out, especially if I'm outside, if I'm riding my bike, or if I'm walking the trail, or if I'm running or whatever. And it's probably because I'm by myself, and my mind isn't on everything else. Like when I'm at work, my mind is on my job. When I'm with other people, my mind is likely on them or whatever we have going on. But when I'm outside, my mind isn't really on anything at all. I think I'm just running and trying to clear my head. But this morning I was running outside, and it actually started when I first woke up, because I woke up and I just couldn't go back to sleep, which was fine because I had no intentions on not on going back to sleep. I just woke up before the time that I planned. And so I got up and I was praying for myself and other people, and just a lot of things that are going on in the world. And then I just decided to just go ahead and get ready so I can go to the main trail that I run on. And when I was out there, God was just dealing with me, like talking to me while I was out there, because it was literally no one out there. And usually by the time I get out there, there are already people out there who are either walking or are running, or maybe they're out there with their pets. But so normally it's not just me out there. And so I was out there, and God just kind of put a check in my spirit, and He says, this is what I'm doing for you, and this is where you are. And He was just showing me how He is moving in my life by removing people from my life. And that's not always a bad thing, you all. And truthfully, it doesn't have to be something bad that happens. A lot of times relationships end, and I don't mean like, the person that you're in a relationship in. I mean, it can be a friendship. It can be a situation or a relationship between you and a family member. But sometimes God will separate that relationship for a reason that He knows. And so I was out there, and the Lord was just kind of replaying the past few months of my life with me. And especially the past couple of months. The past couple of months have been super quiet. I've just gotten real quiet. And part of it was because I did lose my dad in July. And I needed it to be quiet, because normally everybody just for some reason thinks that I'm supposed to be the one that makes sure everybody else is okay. And so this time I handled it a lot differently, because I feel like the Lord was like, well, no, because you always look out for other people, and then we circle back to you, and then you end up being wounded in the process. So since I'm in a place that I am healed and whole, God, I'm so thankful that the Lord did whatever it took to keep me there. So I was out there, and He was just saying that, I'm having to remove some people, not in a negative way and not for a negative reason. It's not like they were plotting against me or that they were against me. It's not like, something was wrong, because a lot of times the relationships that He doesn't want us in, something actually has to happen for it to end. But it wasn't like this. It was just God's way of saying, listen, for now, I don't want a whole lot of people talking to you. I don't want a whole lot of people in your ear. I don't want a whole lot of people counseling you, because truthfully, it was causing a lot of confusion for me. And so I wanted to encourage you all, because sometimes God will move people, and it may be a temporary movement, and it may not. But whatever He does, we have to trust that He knows what He's doing, because He can see what we cannot. God sees the end of a thing. All we see is what we see. We don't even see everything while we're in it. We only see what we see. And so God has to sometimes reorganize or restructure our lives. You all know how sometimes a company, they'll say that the company has to restructure, and they have to restructure management and everything in it because of the direction that they're going. Sometimes God will have to restructure our lives just to get us to where He's trying to get us to. So don't be discouraged by that, and don't always think that that person, was doing something bad to you or trying to plot against you. Sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes God is saying, listen, right now, for where I'm taking you, I need you to be isolated, and I need you to be able to hear from me and me alone. And so during that season, when God starts to move in your life by removing people from your life, get in your word. Get in your word, because we will hear the voice of God through his word. Get in your praise and worship. Just get real quiet and real still, because the reality of the thing is that we should not have to go to a person to hear from God. We should have to go to church to hear from God. We should have to go to a pastor or a prophet to hear from God. We should be able to go to our Father, because all day long he's speaking to us about us. I will never believe that God is talking to somebody else about me more than he's talking to me. The only thing that I can really believe is that I've allowed my life to be so cluttered, and I've allowed myself to be in a situation where I can't hear, be that through sin or busyness or life or just plain disconnect. Whatever it is, I've just put myself in a situation or a place that I can't hear. But God is always talking, and he's always moving. So be at peace with the fact that some people cannot stay where you are, and some people cannot go where he's taking you. Pray for yourself so that you don't get bitter about it. Pray for them so that they don't get bitter about it, because ultimately we don't have room in our lives or in our hearts to have unforgiveness towards anybody. Some things run their course, and that really is okay. And sometimes God will bring those people back full circle just so he can reestablish that relationship differently. Because some of us have had relationships that God ordained, but they got out of order. If you know what I mean. They got maybe a little bit more idolatrous than they should have. Because anytime somebody becomes not God to you, not just God to you, anytime a person becomes a God to you, God has to restructure that thing so that he can put himself first, because he's always supposed to be first. And we're supposed to be listening to him before we listen to them. So be encouraged. Don't think that there's anything wrong. Don't walk around trying to be bitter or angry, or just make assumptions, drawing assumptions that, the person has a problem with you, or that something is wrong, or that they were plotting against you. No, it doesn't have to be that. It could be just a season in your life where God says, it's just me and you, kid. For now, it's just me and you. So just be encouraged and continue to pray for one another. Pray for yourselves. Pray for your families and our nation. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.